If you want to make $5,000 in 48 hours, don't post a single thing on social media. It doesn't work like it used to. Instead, follow the 8 steps I'm going to give you in this video that my clients and I have repeated consistently to make over 142 million online. So step 1 is hour 1. And this is how you can go from charging $37 for something to $5,000. Let me share how this works in multiple niches because it really doesn't matter what you sell. Phil used to charge $37 for a DJ course. Now 6 months later, without changing much, he's now charging $5,000 and making 6 figures a month. The same thing happened for Tom, who was undercharging for his agency services and is now charging $2,500 per month for the same thing. So let me show you the critical difference they made that you have to master in step 1. And before I draw this out, if you want the same resources these exact clients use to achieve this, then I have a framework bundle as a gift for you. Just click the link in the description box or the top comment and you can download them. So step 1, and I'd suggest you grab a pen and a piece of paper and try to draw this out with me. This is the journey that any potential customer or client for you goes on. We've got time on one side and we've got desire along the bottom. And the idea is every single person goes on this journey here. The more time that passes, the more desire has been generated for the solution. So for example, if someone has only had a problem for a month, well then the desire isn't high enough to be spending money on a solution. They're going to be Googling, watching YouTube videos, asking ChatGPT. Now 6 months goes by, the desire has increased to a point where maybe they're going, I need to invest in a solution. I'm going to buy a $50 course. I'm going to find some help. A year passes, 5 years pass. The more time passes, the more desperate they become for a solution. They don't just want a solution, they need a solution, and it's a high priority. These are the people that we want to be targeting because they are the ones willing to spend $3, $4, $5, even $10,000 to solve a problem. So now that you have this diagram, I want you to write down what it is that your ideal clients are doing at each stage of the journey for your specific niche. What makes someone down here low quality compared to, of course, up here, high quality. And now you'll have a list of things that your marketing and your messaging will anchor around to make sure that you only talk to people who are desperate for what you have and are willing to pay for it. Now, I know that with step 1, there's a mistake that 99% of people make. And so step 2 is this one small change to help 10x your marketing effectiveness. And it starts by answering this one question. Have you ever paid for a flight just because you love planes? Maybe some of you have, in which case that's a really expensive hobby. But for most of us, we would say a resounding no. I only ever pay for a flight because I want to get somewhere. And this is exactly the mistake that so many entrepreneurs make online when trying to sell their products. They spend all their time selling the flight rather than the destination. Here's an example. If you're an online coach, when trying to sell your products and services, rather than talking about how many one-to-one sessions they get, the Facebook group they'll be added to, the hundreds of hours of training videos they'll receive, instead, you focus on what they're looking to achieve. That working with you will help them achieve those goals and finally solve their problem. So for step 2, and this is going to take another hour, we are going to take some time and we're going to write down the dream goals of your ideal client. What do they want their life to look like? What do they want to do more of? What do they want to do less of? Once you combine this information you gathered from step 1, your marketing message will be unstoppable. You now know how to charge $5,000 for your product or service. Step 3 is the backwards approach to creating an offer that will save you weeks of time. The biggest mistake I ever made was thinking that more equals more. And here's the moment I had this epiphany. I was once on a sales call with a prospect. I was 100% sure he would buy, but 5 minutes into the call, he told me that he's gone with a competitor of mine because although he was sure I could get him the result he wanted, my competitor's program was 90 days and mine was 12 months. Parkinson's law explains that a task will stretch to fill the time available to complete it. So on paper, having a 12-month program I thought sounded great, but in my prospect's mind, it would take him 12 months to get the result he wanted. So how do we use Parkinson's law to create offers that sell and get incredible results for our clients? This next task should take you about 5 hours. So we're at hour 7 right now. What I want you to do is draw a timeline on your piece of paper. This is where your prospect starts before they work with you, and this is them once they have achieved the outcome once working with you. We actually want to work backwards and find the 5 to 8 things that they would have to do, learn, or implement to go from here to here, and this becomes the foundation of your offer. Now, don't overcomplicate it. If you have more than 8 tasks or steps or things they need to do, then group them together into similar sections. And this is the exact journey that your potential clients will follow to get the $5,000 result that we sold them on in step 1 and 2. So step 3 is completed. So we move on now to step 4, which is an incredible strategy responsible for multiple 6-figure launches in my own company, as well as stories like Nicole, who with her very first offer using this method generated $67,000 in the first 3 months without anything more than exactly what you've just created here in steps 1 to 3. By using what I call the pop-up offer, we can do 2 things. Firstly, launch an offer after only 9 hours of work, and secondly, test the market to see if the offer is right before we put more time into it. The best thing about this is if no one buys, I haven't wasted weeks or months creating something, and I can very easily make changes by reacting to what I see in the marketing when testing the message. So how do we create and sell a pop-up offer? Well, this is going to take another 2 hours, and we're basically going to define the 5 to 8 things that we know would take a prospect from where they are to getting the result with us, and we're going to find the path of least resistance to be able to teach that to them. More often than not, the quickest way my clients find to launch these pop-up offers is to offer one-to-one coaching to this prospect. Every week of coaching is covering one of the things they need to do to get to the result. We can add some bells and whistles. You can give them your phone number to text you some questions and anything else you feel might be helpful. But the trick here is that you're not going to spend time building things. You are just going to sell this to a prospect and use your time initially to get them a result. So we're 9 hours in now, and we have our offer ready to sell our ideal clients. And next, in step 5, I want to show you how in just 4 hours, taking us to 13, and I realize my spacing here isn't perfect, but we'll run with it. We are going to build an end-to-end marketing system to plug this $5,000 offer into so that we can effortlessly find these high-ticket clients. It's the same system that clients like Abram followed and generated $110,000 with his very first try. And Gemma launched hers and filled the calendar with 21 sales calls from people wanting to buy her offer. And Matt copied this into his business and is now making $500,000 a month with it. It's safe to say I have mastered this process over the past 10 years, and I could talk about it for hours. I've tested every marketing system on earth, and on average, a webinar produces 7 times more clients and revenue. And so to not overwhelm you in this video, I've actually created an entire framework for exactly what you need to do to plug this system into your business. It's part of the free bundle that I told you about that you can get access to by clicking the link in the description box or the top comment. And so for step 5, take 4 hours and follow that framework exactly step by step, and you'll have a presentation that can take a stranger and turn them into a ready-to-buy client in less than an hour. It's insanely powerful. Step 6 is how we take what most business owners spend days over engineering and quite frankly completely mess up and simplify it so much so that a child could do it in only 4 hours. The majority of online business owners and marketers are creating these huge systems or funnels that include split tests and various email campaigns and tagging and landing pages and variations. And if the prospect does this, then trigger that, all before they actually launch the darn thing. It's a nightmare. Instead, we want something that we can take to market very quickly that just works. So from this mess of a funnel, what do we need to keep? Well, it's only that section there. Everything else is a distraction. We need one traffic source leading to one registration page to collect leads, one webinar presentation that gives us prospects that buy our stuff. Now, you are going to need a marketing software that's going to allow you to build these funnels and piece it all together, but it needs to be simple to use and needs to be inexpensive. I've created one with my partner. It's called Funneler.ai. There's a link in the description box. If you want to check out our tool, I run my $1 million business on this thing, and it's incredible. I'd love for you to check it out. But for all this work, we need to talk about one specific part of the process, which replaces the need for you to ever post on social media, cold call people, or rely on referrals. This is what makes the entire system predictable. It's this step, step 7, which helped Pascal and Kate turn £1,500 into $18,000 with their webinar. It helped Craig turn $360 into 7 days full of qualified sales calls on his calendar, and how I've turned $6 million into $40 million over the past few years. This is the part that we need to focus on. We could have the best webinar, the best offer, the best program in the world. We could even guarantee our clients the exact result that they want. But if no one ever hears about the offer, it won't matter. So this is where we focus on filling up our webinar with as many people as possible and allow it to filter the good from the bad. Now, there's a few good options for generating traffic, but for speed, we're going to focus on a paid strategy, which can be the difference between a handful of leads versus a tap that you can just turn on and off for a waterfall of leads watching your webinar and booking calls with you. The key to a highly profitable paid ad is that firstly, it's a video, and secondly, that we do and say certain things in that video that take no longer than 60 seconds. And so that's exactly what we need to do in step 7. Over the next 3 hours, we are going to script the perfect video ad for your business. And so to help you, I've created a template that you can just copy and paste and fill in the blanks. It's called the 60-second script. It's actually part of that free bundle I told you about earlier. So click the link in the description box, grab your copy, and now we'll move on to step 8, arguably the most important part of the entire process. This is when we press the launch button and the whole thing goes live. What we're going to do is we're going to go 24 hours, and we're not going to waste this time. We're going to be preparing to close these sales calls that get booked in. And so I'm going to teach you how you can close 50, 60, even 70% of those calls into $5,000 sales. I call it the push and pull framework. And it's the same framework that people like Robert used in just 2 weeks, made $13,000 in sales for his pianist coaching program. And Parveen used it to close a $4,000 client. Nicole, in 24 hours, was able to close $9,000 from 2 clients, teaching people rent-to-rent property strategies. And don't worry, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Ugh, sales calls. And I get it. I used to hate sales calls. Every time I got off a call, I felt so dirty I needed to take a shower because for years, people have been doing and teaching sales the wrong way. We're taught that as soon as you get someone on the phone, you do everything you can to get their card details and close the sale. And that's exactly what makes us feel icky, makes us feel like used car salespeople, right? I thought there must be a better way, and I've got good news. There is. I spent 2 years testing and refining a sales call method, which helped me actually enjoy sales calls again and only talk to the people that I actually want to work with and that it felt great. And we've got 24 hours to prepare and get ready to be at our best for every conversation. So let's work through the entire thing. I have another resource that actually comes in 2 parts that is also in that bundle that I mentioned earlier that you can get in the description box below. And I call it the push and pull script. The idea here is that when we do a sales conversation, we are not going to try and close someone on the first call. In fact, we're going to use the first call to set up the sale, and we're going to use the second conversation to close it. And there are countless benefits for this. And in my framework, I walk you through exactly what you need to say and do to perfectly position the conversation, but do it in a way that prospects actually enjoy the conversation. We don't want someone to feel sold to, and we don't want to feel like manipulative salespeople. So one of the incredibly powerful benefits of doing it this way is we can legitimately say to our prospects that we will not sell them something on that first conversation, and we stick to it. All we're doing is asking questions and saying and doing the right things that lead someone to ask us about the program and are positioned ready and wanting to buy it. That then leads to a follow-up conversation where, again, I have a framework that tells you exactly what to say and do to pick up on everything that was achieved in conversation 1 and effortlessly convert that person into a client on call number 2. And the magic is that they often don't even realize that they were a part of a sales process. We have clients that come into our program and say, John, I only joined your program because I felt so good about the sales process you took me through. So once we've launched this process and we've had 24 hours of traffic coming into our webinar, then we should have leads, people watching the webinar and booking calls with us. So for the final 4 hours here, we are going to be putting into practice all the stuff that we've just learned. But sales isn't the end. Although you now have a 48-hour plan to make a high-ticket sale worth at least $5,000, if your goal is to have this system consistently bringing in sales every single day, then watch this video right here where I'll dive deep into the business around the system that turns this process and what we've learned into a 6 or even 7-figure income.